Welcome, everyone. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most brilliant and mystically complex encounters in the entire Torah. We're going way beyond the surface story of two brothers, Jacob and Esau, and we're entering what is essentially a masterclass in cosmic engineering. This is a story about how you manage conflict, how you neutralize jealousy, and how you wield incredible spiritual power by hiding it.
So let's jump right in. This single verse, this is the key to everything. On the surface, it sounds like a pretty humble message, right? After being away for 20 years, Jacob sends word to his brother Esau, and he lists what he has. I have an ox and a donkey. But, as the Zohar and the great mystics teach us, these simple words are actually a highly sophisticated code. This is a strategy that's operating on every single level of reality. This is not just a greeting, it's a weapon of peace.
Now, to crack that code, we first have to understand the context. We have to feel the tension in the air. So let's start with the Pishat, the plain, literal story, and really paint a picture of this scene. I want you to just imagine this for a second. The air is thick with dust and anticipation. The sun is beating down on this vast, unforgiving landscape. For 20 years, Jacob has been gone, building a family, building a life, but always living under the shadow of his brother's threat. And now, he's coming home. The past is about to slam into the present. On one side, you have a wandering patriarch with his wives, his children, his herds. And on the other, a powerful chieftain just waiting with an army. And just look at the stark contrast here. It is absolutely wild. Jacob's message projects total humility. He calls himself your servant. He lists simple work animals. He talks about sojourning, which makes him sound unstable, like a wanderer. His only stated goal is to find grace. But what's the reality on the ground? Esau isn't just his brother anymore. He's a chieftain. And he's not coming to talk. He's bringing 400 armed men. This is overwhelming physical force, what the texts call koach. The imbalance of power here is frankly terrifying.
So this message, it's Jacob's opening move in a game of cosmic chess with the highest stakes imaginable. This is not just him being polite. No way. This is a strategic probe. He's trying to get a read on Esau. Is that 20-year-old grudge still burning hot? Can this whole confrontation be appeased? Every single word he chooses is selected with surgical precision, designed to de-escalate a situation that could get his entire family wiped out.
And that brings us to our roadmap for today. We've just covered the literal story, the pshat. Now we're going to journey deeper through all the levels of meaning, what's known as pardes. We'll explore the remez, which is the level of coded illusions. Then we'll get into the drash, the practical lessons. And finally, we're going to dive headfirst into the sod, the deep mystical secrets, before we bring it all back home and translate this ancient code into wisdom we can use in our own lives. Okay, now we enter the remez. This is the world of illusion, of symbolic meaning. And we're about to see that Jacob's words are so much more than a simple list of his possessions. They are a deeply sophisticated code. This is the question that changes everything. You have to ask yourself, is it really possible that a prophet like Jacob, a master of divine wisdom, sends his first message in 20 years to his mortal enemy, and it's just a shopping list? The sages tell us absolutely not. He's speaking on two frequencies at the same time. There's one message for Esau to hear, and a completely different message for the cosmos. And here's the key to that code. Commentators like the great Vilna Gaon explain that ox and donkey are well-known allusions to the two Messianic figures. The ox, or shor, is a symbol for Mashiach ben Yosef, the warrior Messiah who fights the big battles. The donkey, or chamor, is the symbol for Mashiach ben David, the final redeemer who brings ultimate peace. So what is Jacob really saying to the universe? Not, I have some livestock, but I possess the entire Messianic destiny. It's an unbelievable declaration of ultimate spiritual power, but it's disguised as complete and utter physical weakness. So we've just seen this hidden declaration of immense power. Now let's look at the drash, the practical lesson. How does Jacob use this moment to manage one of the most destructive human emotions there is, jealousy? And here it is, straight from the Zohar. This is the absolute core of the strategy. The entire purpose of this carefully built message was to stop Esau from seeing any proof that their father Isaac's blessings to Jacob had actually come true. Because if Esau saw Jacob enjoying those blessings, that 2-decade-old rage would just ignite into a firestorm. So let's just break down this protocol because it's genius. It's a point-by-point takedown of every single blessing that Esau was jealous of. First, deny abundance. Isaac blessed Jacob with grain and wine. Jacob mentions an ox and a donkey. These are tools for work, not signs of wealth. Second, reframe status. The blessing said, be a lord over your brethren. Jacob's message, Thus says your servant Jacob to my lord Esau. He completely flips the hierarchy on its head. Third, project instability. The blessing promised the fat of the earth. Jacob claims he's just a sojourner, a transient with no real roots. And finally, seek grace. His goal isn't to win, it's just to find favor. He's asking for peace.
This is such a profound psychological insight. Jacob understands a fundamental law of human nature. Revealed blessings are magnets for conflict. They awaken envy in other people. Esau can only be jealous of what he can perceive, so Jacob gives him nothing to perceive. He presents a picture so humble, so non-threatening, that Esau's jealousy has absolutely no fuel to burn. He starves the beast before it can even roar.
And now we arrive at the deepest level, the sod, the mystical secret. What is happening on a cosmic level here? Because this isn't just psychology, it's what we can truly call Sephirotic engineering. Jacob is actively manipulating the flow of divine energy itself. Okay, so a quick definition for us. The Sephirot are the 10 channels through which all divine energy flows into our world. You can think of them as the metaphysical DNA of reality. They are the literal building blocks of everything. And this is the absolute key to understanding what Jacob is really doing. In the Kabbalistic map of the cosmos, Jacob and Esau are more than just two brothers. They are archetypes. Jacob embodies the Sephirah of Tiferet, which is harmony, truth, and balance. He's the central pillar, blending mercy and judgment into one. Esau, on the other hand, embodies the raw power of Gevurah, which is severity, judgment, also known as din. He is the left pillar, and you can see there's an inherent tension between these two forces. Tiferet is always trying to create balance, while raw Gevurah is always looking to execute judgment. Now, to really get this, we need one more concept: hidden light versus revealed light. A blessing can be fully possessed in its potential state. This is called organuz, hidden light. It's pure, unadulterated spiritual energy. When that blessing manifests physically, as wealth, as power, as status, it becomes or nigla, revealed light. The secret that Jacob knows is that you can possess the hidden light completely without ever letting it become revealed light. You can be spiritually rich beyond measure without showing a single dollar. So let's put this all together. Here is the play-by-play of Jacob's Sephirotic engineering. As Tiferet, he receives the divine blessing, the Shefa, from the higher energies of mercy and strength. He holds these energies inside him in perfect, balanced potential. That's the hidden light, the organuz. But then he makes a choice. He essentially builds a dam, and he consciously withholds this energy from manifesting down here in the physical world, in Malkut. And why? Because he knows that it's the sight of a manifested blessing that triggers Esau's judgmental force, his din. By making sure there's no physical target, he guarantees there can be no attack. This whole dynamic is just beautifully illustrated using the Kabbalistic symbolism of color. The pure blessing from Isaac is white, the color of mercy, chesed. Jacob keeps this white light hidden. Esau is associated with red, Adam, the fiery energy of judgment, Gevurah. And Jacob, as Tiferet, the perfect balance, embodies green, the color of harmony. So his strategy is simple: maintain his green state of balance by never ever letting Esau's red energy see his white blessing. By keeping the white hidden, the red has nothing to react to, and harmony is preserved. It's just a breathtakingly elegant form of spiritual physics. So we've journeyed from the literal story on a dusty road, all the way to the deepest mystical secrets of the universe. But what does this actually mean for us? Let's bring this ancient code into our world with some real practical takeaways. How can we activate this wisdom in our own lives? Well, for anyone who thinks in technical terms, here's a great analogy. You can think of Jacob as performing signal suppression. He's a sophisticated system with immense capabilities. Esau is a rival system, and it's programmed to react aggressively to any perceived threats. So Jacob's strategy is to mask his outputs. He intentionally broadcasts only low-level, non-threatening signals so that the rival system doesn't detect his true power and initiate an attack. It's all about managing your external signature to control your environment. Or, here's a video game analogy that makes it super clear. Imagine you're a high-level player, and you have a legendary, glowing sword. You're about to enter a dangerous area where all the enemies are programmed to attack players who have powerful gear. What's the smart move? You don't walk in with that sword equipped, lighting up the whole map and drawing all the aggro, right? Of course not. You keep it in your inventory. You still possess its full power, but it remains hidden. You appear non-threatening, and you can navigate safely. That is exactly what Jacob is doing. His blessings are his legendary items, and he's keeping them in his inventory until the threat is gone. So what's the actionable wisdom for us? First, strategic humility. It's the wisdom to know when revealing your full strength, your talents, your success, is just going to provoke unnecessary conflict. Second, perception management. Your words literally shape the reality that other people perceive. Use them to build bridges, not to flaunt your status. Third, internal abundance. True wealth is the potential you hold within, that organus, not just what you show off on the outside. And finally, proactive de-escalation. The highest form of wisdom is not winning the fight, it's preventing the fight from ever starting in the first place. And this leaves us with the essential question we all have to grapple with. Jacob's strategy was concealment for the sake of peace in a high-threat situation. But we are also told to be a light unto the nations. So the eternal balancing act is this. How much of our own light, our talents, our blessings, should we keep hidden for protection? And how much must we reveal to illuminate the world and fulfill our purpose? Finding that balance, that is the art of living a wise and effective life. Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.